Hi guys, Jessica here. In today's video, you guys can watch me retouch and edit this portrait. I really love to edit portraits, so I'm, excited to have you guys here with me, watching what I do, and I'm just going to be talking about the process and some other random things. I don't have anything planned for this one, really nothing written down, so you're going to see me basically edit from scratch. Hopefully this doesn't turn into like a small feature film where it's like 2 hours long. I'm going to try to condense it. But before we begin, I would love to thank the sponsor for this video, which is Squarespace.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Being a photographer, it's so important for me to have my work and brand displayed professionally online, and Squarespace really makes it easy to do that. They have features that make it simple to use for anyone looking to claim a domain, build a website, or market their brand. They also have beautiful templates for a wide range of projects, plus 24/7 award-winning customer support if you ever need it. You can also create an online store to sell products like presets, or you can even sell a service. So check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Jessica to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. With that being said, let's get back into the video.
Alright guys, so we're in Photoshop now, and I'm just gonna start retouching and editing this as I normally would if you guys weren't watching me. Thousands of people weren't watching this. So I'm gonna open this up. And we have the image here. So now I'm just gonna go to the frequency separation action, and then so I'm gonna duplicate the low frequency layer and then just start retouching. Sometimes I'll turn off the texture layer so I can just see it better. So yeah, this is what I do all day. I've been doing this for the past few days. Haven't really been going out too much, just because I have a lot of work to do, and I have to finish it before my trip to Japan, where we're going to be traveling to in like a week and a half. So I want to just be responsible and finish everything for the agencies and the models and all the videos before I'm there. And we're recording anew for photographers, which I'm excited about, but at the same time I have so much more to tweak about that video. I have to just confirm locations and stuff like that, and you always have to confirm with all the photographers involved, like 2 times a week. I think you have to just make sure that their dates are blocked off and they can be there at the right time. So yeah, there's just a lot going on right now, but I'm really excited to be traveling there soon. Honestly, I really do love retouching. It's kind of relaxing in a very strange way. Amongst some people are like, yeah, I relax on the beach. I'm like, me in front of my computer alone, retouching on my tablet. I guess everyone has different ways of how they relax, how they deal with things, what they enjoy doing. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm just a little strange with that, but this is what I like to do. So when I first started retouching, I was just using the healing brush directly on the entire image, and then I slowly learned frequency separation. I would say I just recently started to, refine my retouching. And then recently I tried to learn dodge and burn retouching, which was a tragedy. It's funny because I told everyone I was trying to learn it, and then every time I posted a photo, they were like, oh, is this using dodge and burn? And I'd be like, no, it's just frequency separation. Just because dodge and burn can be very difficult, and it is very time consuming to learn, which I totally understand. I'm going to put in the work to learn it. It's just not right now. Just have so much going on. I think you have to dedicate a lot of your time to learning that. And also for the photography I do, I feel like it's okay that I'm not necessarily using dodge and burn. It's not like beauty macro photography, which I think really that type of photography would benefit from dodge and burn retouching because it's so close up. So I feel like I'm okay using this technique and just making it look as natural as possible. And actually, it's weird because I was looking at some photos of mine that I took literally just last year, and I was kind of like, why did I over retouch this photo? Like, it was literally last year, like a couple months ago, and I kind of got annoyed at myself. I'm like, why did I over retouch this picture? It doesn't look that good. So I always over retouch, and I just need to learn to pull back, I think. The issue is when you look at an image for like 3 or 4 hours, you think it looks good, and then you look at it again like a month from now, you're like, what was going on? Was I going through something? I don't know why I did this. So that's just something I'm learning very slowly. Refine, and just pull back when necessary. Just pull it, not editing as much as you want to. Even though it's really fun to, retouch and add lots of layers. I love adding layers. Doesn't always make the picture look good. So that's one thing I'm working on. And one thing I just always have a hard time retouching anything but the face, like hands. Oh my God, retouching hands. I'm glad there's no photography police, because that'd be the first one in that jail for the way that I retouch hands. It looks like Barbie hands. I don't know how to retouch them, so I try, I like lower the opacity. I'm like, yeah, it looks okay. So I think does anyone know a retouching course for retouching like hands? Just link it down below, I guess. That would be good. So yeah, anything other than the face, retouching wise, I do struggle with. I guess I just try to transition the colors okay, but not too much. Like right now, I guess it kind of still, has the same colors and shades as it did before. It's just kind of cleaned up a little bit more. So I think I'm just going to keep it like that. But this is how it looks so far. So that is what it looks like. And then the high frequency layer, I usually just make a copy of that just in case I mess it up. Actually, I don't need to do too much on this layer. So what I've started to do now is like hold and then just drag it a little bit to keep the same exact texture. Because from before, I used to do something where I click. I'm terrible at explaining this, I'm so sorry. I used to do something where I click individually and then stamp it. But when you grab like a section, I guess it just keeps that same texture, because I do still want the texture there. So I just drag it along a little bit, and that's honestly it. That's really the most I'll do right now. See, I just kind of like messed that up, so I'm just going to keep that. It's not a big deal. Okay, so that is looking great. What I also do is make sure that it doesn't look overly edited or retouched, so I'll usually just lower that opacity and see how it looks. It's okay if it doesn't look perfect. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm going to save this before my computer crashes and I have to redo this. So usually when I finish retouching, I'll lower the opacity on the low frequency layer just to kind of see how it looks. I think that looks fine. And then if I need to, I'll just go back and retouch little areas. I think when you retouch for a while, like a few years, you start noticing even more things to retouch. Whereas before, you retouch an eye and you're like, okay, great, the picture looks like Mona Lisa. Put it up in the Louvre. We're good. Another thing that I've kind of started to do, but I don't know if I'm going to continue doing this. I'll show you guys anyways, I just take a curves layer, and then let's just say I bump up the brightness. I'm gonna just mask it, and then I'm going to just dodge some of her eye. I'm just gonna bump up the brightness just a little bit. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. And then usually what I do is just add on colors and, okay. Let's see here. I want to add a little bit more contrast in here. So if you're really looking for, you know, why I do the things I do, it's honestly just, you know, I go back to my favorite layers, I guess, and then just adjust them. Okay, let's see. Gradient map. Always a fave. You could do so much with gradient map. It's so cute when people ask me like, oh, how did you get that gradient? Can you send it to me? I'm like, you guys are so cute. You can just make all your own gradients down here by just switching the colors. I just think that's just like an adorable kind of thing that people ask me. All right, there we go. We just brought out a little bit of that detail, as you can see. What else could I do? Honestly, this is like my whole process. I'm like, okay, what else could we add? I guess. Let's see here. I always try to avoid just a regular curves layer, like setting it to normal. I'll usually go down to like luminosity. See what that does. But then I also don't want it to be too brightened up. As you can see, like something like this, like that's too much. So very subtle, but pretty nice. Let's see what we can do. There we go. I was looking for that. Okay, that doesn't do, okay, whatever. So I want to add a little bit more color in here. Let's see how we can do this. Maybe I'll go to like one of these. That's kind of nice. Oh, you know what I could do? Go to color. Let me see. Oh, that looks kind of nice. Very subtle edits. I feel like I could add a little bit more to this though. See, this is nice, but I think it's too like orange yellow, even though it's literally a photo filter that I just added. But let me see if I can only add that into specific areas. Let me see. You gotta train your eye like crazy to be able to see these little differences. Like the average person would be like, I don't see anything, there's no change. But me, being a psychopath photographer and editor, I'm like, yeah, I see the little pixel right there change color. And that's why my family thinks I'm weird. But you know what? Honestly, it's fine. Like, it works for me. All right. Let's just say this looks, you know, we're on the right track here. Let's throw in a curves layer, I guess. This is like our little lifeboat here, trying to figure out what we're going to do. It's really hard when you're editing photos to figure out what layer goes next. You know, it's like I mean, unless you're using like a preset, but for Photoshop, it takes forever if you're doing it layer by layer. I mean, obviously, if you're starting out, that's what you would have to do. So just know, even up until now, sometimes I won't know what to add next, but it just takes practice and knowing what each layer does. Oh, selective color. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I totally forgot about that. Okay. So selective color, I would literally just go crazy on this one. I'll just be like, yep, here we go. -100 each one. So this one really does transform the picture. But you have to kind of just know what it's going to do. Like, oh, that's kind of nice. Okay. Don't worry, guys. I'm not going to keep it like this. Imagine I just put this up on my Instagram. I mean, honestly, Sydney looks good with anything. So this is tricky. Okay. That's not bad, actually, but we're trying to make this a little bit nicer. Okay. Okay. I feel like it's this layer that I have to just tweak, but it's just taking me a second to get it to how I want it. Okay, that's actually looking pretty good. I kind of like that. So you can either go for like a more blue tone or again like more yellow. And those are the decisions that as an indecisive person I don't ever like making, so it takes me forever to just decide what that's going to be. Actually, I don't even mind that. It looks kind of cool. See, but then her skin tone. Okay, I have to make sure that... Okay, this is actually... I'm actually liking this. I think if I add more layers, it'll come together. You know what I mean? All right, let's see. What else could I add to this? You know what? Why not just add another gradient map? Oh, wow. Love this. Okay. Love this. Okay. That's definitely a winner. And also, in one of my other tutorials, I showed you guys how to, change the background only. So if you kind of like the colors in the background, which I'll show you guys in a second. Like if I go to the greens, and if you guys are liking, like if we pay attention to only the green in the background, I'll show you guys. If you just add a mask, you can just kind of mask only the background out. So I'll show you guys, like if you like more of a yellow type background, here, right, there we go. Actually kind of like this whole thing. But for instance, let's say you just want the background to be the colors that are in the selective color layer. You just invert the mask and then go over just the background. So it shows up kind of like this. I'm really liking this, wow. As if I'm surprised, I'm like, yeah, I did a decent job. I love editing, like this is so much fun to me. Okay, so that selective color layer only affects the background. And then you know what I haven't done in a while? Like the light leak stuff. So, I mean, I don't have to add this in, but I just want to play around with it, see where it takes me, I guess. I just usually get a color and then just kind of go over the photo, but it takes me a couple of tries actually. So kind of just like a swooping kind of thing. You don't have to add something like this, but it just adds a little bit of light to the photo. And then I'll literally just layer it on. And then I'll take usually a white color and then just layer that on as well over it. I won't always do this. I actually haven't done this in a very long time, but I thought since, you know, I'm recording this, it would be kind of cool to show you guys some stuff to add to portraits. So I'll show you guys that's how it looks without it, and that's how it looks with it. So just something extra. And also let me add a little bit of a blue curves layer in here. I think that would look kind of nice. Or it could make it look terrible. Okay, that looked better in my head. You ever have like this pose idea in your head and then you have the model do it and it just, it looks so dumb. And you're like, I'm so sorry for giving you that idea. That happens to me all the time. Okay, actually I don't even mind that. But again, you gotta just train your eye to see every little change, and that might take a while. Okay, actually that doesn't look too bad. And I'm setting this to color, so. All right, let me see all that I've done, because I feel like when you keep adding layers, sometimes you don't realize the extent of what you've done. So it's good to just group everything and then go on and off and then just see what you've done. Wow, that looks actually really great. So happy with this. I'm going to save it. So what I'm going to do is just remove some of the color in her hair. My brush is at 33%, so there's still color there, but not as much. I don't want to get rid of everything. I want there to be some remnants of color, I guess. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then usually what I do is just go through each layer, see what it does, see that it's doing what it's supposed to. And if I don't like one thing, I'll just tweak it, remove it, or add something else. So this gradient map layer really came through. I actually really like this. I'm going to use this more often. And then there's a selective color with that background. And there's the light leaks. So let me show you guys a quick before and after. This is before. This is after. Let me zoom in here, because I never do that. I don't know why. I always forget to zoom in. That is before, and that's after. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you guys want to see more of these, just a little bit more casual, not really tutorial based, like step by step, but you guys can still get a sense of what I'm doing. Anyways, I would love to thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, see you guys very soon.